So, non-dualism, or consciousness-only model, often gets branded as spiritual, which it is, but so is any model of reality. They are all deeply spiritual. And let me walk you through why I think so. Well, non-dualism, or consciousness-only model, suggests that consciousness is the fundamental fabric of reality. So everyone and everything, you and me and the world we walk around in, everything's made from consciousness. And that is a model that explains how reality could be. So it's a theory. And it kind of challenges the one that we predominantly have in our society today, which is materialism or physicalism. And that suggests that the world is made of matter, some solid object, and then once that matter becomes complex enough, such as our nervous system, then consciousness pops out of that. So that's also a model of reality. A theory, you could say. And regardless of which one you believe in, it will shape how you relate to the world, how you see yourself and how you see other people, and how you view life and death. It's just that materialism has kind of been allowed, or since that's the one that we take for granted, it comes as a baseline. Like, this is how the world is. So it doesn't really feel like we're questioning something or that we're digging into any deep spiritual or existential questions. It's just the way it is. And any model, any metaphysical model, any model of reality that challenges this one can be seen as the one posing the existential questions, or the one that challenges on a spiritual level. But I would suggest that's only because another model, such as non-dualism, is challenging the status quo. It is asking us to take a deep look at, who am I really? What is the essence of who I am? Because what I believe about reality, since I am part of reality, that also affects me. So a model of reality is included in questioning ourselves, our view of ourselves. So they're both spiritual. They both deal with existential questions. Yes. And why do I find this fascinating? Well, because it's sometimes held against non-dualism, as though it's not to be taken serious because it's more of a spiritual belief. And likewise the other way around. It's almost like materialism isn't interesting to explore from a spiritual realm because it's so practical, it's so fundamental, and it's so boring. But that's not true. It also has ingrained lots of deep spiritual questions. So they're kind of both, they're both missing out on being mislabeled that's very spiritual and not spiritual, when in fact they are on equal ground. Whether you think that's good or bad, that's up to each of us to decide, but don't rob either one of them, and don't blame either one of them. I guess that's my invitation. And another thing is that none of us gets to opt out of spiritual questions. We might get to opt out of pondering them, but we do form a belief about society and a belief about ourselves and a belief about the world, regardless if we want to think about it. Like, we found our decisions in the world on very existential questions, existential beliefs. And I find that fascinating because all of a sudden it's not a divide between people who are spiritual and people who are not spiritual. It's kind of more a question of people who have found reason because they wanted to, or because life simply was too much of a challenge to question these, to have to ponder them, to have to look closely at them. And people who have not had reasons to look closely, whether it's because they don't want to or because life hasn't presented them with that. But we're not fundamentally different. We're just humans moving around in this reality and being part of the reality. And we get to freely choose which model we think is most plausible. Yeah. And we can call it spiritual or not. But I think it's an interesting perspective to level out the playing field. What are your thoughts on this? Does it awaken something in you when labeling them both as spiritual? Please do share in the comment sections. I'd love to hear your reflections. Okay. I hope to see you next time, my friend.